Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. WWE veteran Stevie Richards recently talked about Roman Reigns and CM Punk's involvement in a spot that injured a top name at Survivor Series, War Games. The injured star in question is Bronson Reed. At this year's Survivor Series, War Games, Roman Reigns' OG bloodline and CM Punk locked horns with Solo Sikoa's stable, which included Jacob Fatu, the Tongans, and Bronson Reed. All of the stars put on an amazing display of action. However, during the latter stages of the match, Reed attempted a dangerous move as he tried to jump on Reigns from the top of the steel cage. Punk came in clutch for his teammate and quickly pulled him out of the dangerous situation, but the spot ended up being a nightmare for Big Bronson Reed. It was later revealed that the WWE Raw star had suffered an ankle injury and needed surgery. During a recent edition of the Stevie Richards Show, the WWE veteran said that although the spot looked flawless on television, he believed CM Punk pulled Roman Reigns off the table a little too late, which made Bronson Reed's landing difficult. I'm gonna tell you exactly what went wrong right now. The reason why Bronson Reed broke his ankle is because Punk hadn't pulled Roman Reigns off the table, which means he, Reed, had to land and then splash the table. He was trying to be safe, land on his feet then do the splash to give them time to pull it off, he said. Richards also mentioned that it was not a great spot to set up. He also believed that too much could have gone wrong during that segment. Now I say what could have went wrong is Punk pulling Roman Reigns off the table and the table going in another direction, then Bronson Reed literally splashing on the edge of the table. So, it's really not a great spot to set up in theory. You think it might be good but, man, too much can go wrong, he added. From 136 to 223. Roman Reigns Survivor Series opponent Bronson Reed gave an update on his injury. Bronson Reed recently took to Instagram to update his fans on his injury. In the caption of his post, the WWE Raw star revealed that his surgery was completed, before stating that he was on the road to recovery. It remains to be seen how long Bronson Reed will be out of in-ring competition due to the ankle injury. It was the kind of match that the WWE Universe would remember forever, the explosive confrontation between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. The two had been on a collision course for months, each one determined to prove they were the true face of the company. Their match had been hyped for weeks as one of the most anticipated in recent WWE history, and fans packed the arena, eagerly awaiting the chaos that was about to unfold. The atmosphere was electric. Fans roared as Reigns entered the arena, his eyes cold and focused, the Universal Championship belt draped over his shoulder. The tension was palpable as Punk made his way to the ring, taunting the crowd with his signature smirk. It was clear from the start that this was going to be a war. The match itself was brutal, a mix of hard-hitting strikes, power moves, and moments that had the crowd on the edge of their seats. Reigns and Punk exchanged brutal blows, neither willing to back down. But it was a spot in the middle of the match that would change everything. The dangerous spot. Roman Reigns had a reputation for taking risks, for pushing boundaries that others wouldn't dare approach. CM Punk, always known for his grit and intensity, wasn't one to shy away from a dangerous challenge either. Together, they decided to push the envelope further than anyone could have anticipated. The moment came when Reigns set Punk up for his signature spear. Punk, ever the strategist, dodged the move at the last second, sending Reigns crashing into the steel steps outside the ring. The impact was hard, but it wasn't enough to incapacitate either man. Punk saw his opportunity and went to the top rope, ready to dive onto the fallen Reigns. But that's when things went terribly wrong. As Punk leapt into the air, Reigns, his body aching from the brutal collision with the steel, tried to move out of the way. The timing was off. Punk, who was already mid-air, lost control of his landing. His foot caught the edge of the barricade, and the momentum sent him spiraling to the ground, his knee buckling in a way that made the entire arena gasp. Punk screamed out in pain, clutching his leg as he writhed on the ground. The medical team rushed to the ring immediately. Reigns, still in shock, stood frozen for a moment before he realized what had happened. Punk, the one who had always prided himself on his toughness, now lay there, injured and vulnerable. The fallout. The match was immediately called off, and Punk was helped to the back by trainers. The injury was confirmed later that night as a torn ACL, a devastating blow to the talented superstar, who had already fought so hard to come back to the ring after years away from the business. Backstage, the atmosphere was tense. Reigns, ever the professional, sat quietly in a corner, his thoughts racing. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had somehow been a part of something that had gone too far. Veteran WWE wrestler, Edge, who had witnessed the whole situation unfold from backstage, couldn't help but voice his concerns. He had seen his fair share of dangerous spots throughout his career and had always been cautious about the risks involved. "Man, too much can go wrong," Edge said to a group of the younger talent gathered in the locker room. "I've been in this business for a long time, and I've seen some crazy things, but this was a mess waiting to happen. Roman, you're one of the top guys, and Punk, you've come back after all this time. But when you're doing spots like that, you're putting not just your career at risk, but everyone's safety." Edge's voice was filled with a mix of concern and frustration. He knew that the business was evolving, and the desire to put on the most extreme, jaw-dropping matches was ever present. But at what cost? Edge had lived through his own share of injuries and had retired early due to neck problems, knowing that the toll the business took on a wrestler's body wasn't worth the glory of a spectacular moment. The debate. In the aftermath of the incident, the wrestling community was split. Fans were both outraged and sympathetic, with many expressing their concerns about the growing trend of high-risk spots in WWE matches. While some believed that it was all part of the entertainment, others, like Edge, were warning that things were getting out of hand. Roman Reigns, in the days that followed, spoke about the incident during an interview. He seemed genuinely affected by what had happened to Punk, but he also defended the risks that came with the territory. "We train for these spots," Reigns said. "We trust our bodies, and we trust the guys we're in the ring with. But sometimes things don't go as planned, and that's what happened with Punk. We all take risks in this business. We wouldn't be here if we didn't." But even Reigns couldn't hide the guilt that lingered in his words. He had always been a big proponent of pushing the envelope, of showing the WWE Universe something they hadn't seen before. But now, seeing Punk on crutches, he questioned whether it was worth it. Meanwhile, CM Punk, while recovering, posted a message on social media, thanking his fans for their support. He expressed gratitude for the opportunity to be back in the ring and vowed to come back stronger. But there was an underlying message of caution in his words. He had experienced the highs of the business, but now, he was acutely aware of the physical toll it took. "I love this business, but sometimes, it's easy to forget that we're all human," Punk wrote. "We're not superheroes. We're just guys who happen to be able to do things that seem impossible. But in the end, it's about our health, our families, and the long-term game. I'll be back, but let's all remember the risks we're taking." The veteran's perspective. Edge wasn't alone in his concern. Several other WWE veterans, including John Cena and The Undertaker, weighed in on the growing trend of dangerous spots. Cena, known for his methodical and calculated approach to matches, expressed concern about the direction WWE was heading. "I get it. We all want to make a statement, but the best stories are told with the right balance of risks and rewards," Cena said in a candid interview. "We can still be the best without putting each other in harm's way every night. There's a line, and sometimes we cross it. It's not worth the price we might pay." The sentiment echoed through the locker room, with several wrestlers privately admitting that the pressure to top each other's big moments had led to an unhealthy environment where risks were prioritized over safety. Conclusion. As CM Punk began his road to recovery, it was clear that the dangerous spot involving him and Roman Reigns had caused more than just physical injury. It had sparked a larger conversation within the WWE locker room and the broader wrestling world. Was the pursuit of the perfect match worth the price of a wrestler's safety? And how much longer could WWE continue to push the boundaries before something far worse happened? For Roman Reigns, the moment was a reminder of the weight of responsibility that came with being at the top of the business. And for the veterans like Edge, Cena, and The Undertaker, it was a call to reconsider the dangers of an increasingly reckless industry. The fallout from that night would last long after the arena lights had dimmed, as the WWE Universe and the superstars themselves pondered the true cost of glory in the squared circle.